Hello, and welcome to the Straight to the Source podcast. I'm Tanya Barr.
And I'm Lucy Allon, and we're looking forward to taking you straight to the source of the people driving our food and hospitality industry forward. Today, we're going straight to the source with Chef Ambassador Sina Sucuka to explore his culinary journey, from Michelin-starred kitchens in Europe to his current role championing Fremantle Octopus here in Australia. We're going to uncover what makes this premium Western Australian species so special, from its MSC-certified sustainability and natural tenderness to its incredible versatility. Sina, welcome to the studio.
Thank you for inviting us. It's amazing to be here as well.
Wonderful. Well, I'm really looking forward to our conversation. I know from our previous conversations, you've talked a little bit about your culinary background, which has taken you from Turkey through Michelin-star restaurants in Europe. You trained in the US.
Correct.
And you're now working as a private chef in Melbourne, but also as a chef ambassador for Fremantle Octopus. Let's go back to the beginning. How did you get started in the culinary world? What got you underway as a chef?
I guess I was a hyperactive kid. So my mom had to kind of
keep you busy?
Yes, keep me busy. So I went in the kitchen quite early on. And there's always a joke in the family as well. I had a bigger sack of flour than I was when I first was just doing some doughs and everything with my mom. But Turkish family, around the table, eating a lot and hosting a lot. So hospitality is very big in Turkey. Yeah. And then I basically went to US and got a culinary arts degree to build up on that. And I was 18 when I left. And then since then, basically, I have been traveling all around.
Okay. So from the US, you then headed to Europe, or what was your journey after you did your training?
Turkish background is a little bit difficult because of visas and passports. So It's just basically whoever takes me. And I found an Italian trattoria, which would take me very close to Alba, Bra. And it was the white truffle season. And it was a really good white truffle season as well. The soil was very moist. So it was an abundance of truffles that time. But that kicked off my journey. 3 months there, stage. And the head chef there actually went to San Sebastian to have a surf break. And then I thought I want to go to San Sebastian too. And then I applied to 100 to 200 places, and majority did not reply. Some of them said no, and 2 places said yes. And one of them was a 3 Michelin star restaurant called Culinary. And basically afterwards, I just jumped from one location to another location, always in search of really good ingredients and try to go to the source, and also get good experiences of different varieties.
Well, I mean, kicking off with white Alba truffles is a pretty special place to start. So you started with the best.
Can't complain. I can't complain.
And so your experience in these variety of different restaurants was really what took you or started you on this journey of really wanting to identify the source of the ingredients and tell that story.
100%. Chefs don't have much time, free time. And then every year I would have a week or 2 for free. And then during those times I would actually travel to the source via my wholesalers and just get immersed in the everything there, from the history to architecture to geography. And after a while, faith got me here. But then COVID came 2020. And then I was a head chef back in Melbourne for 2 years. And I came as a sponsored chef 457. It doesn't exist anymore, the visa.
Some visas people keep changing.
Yeah, some people would know. But then I was basically, Fremantle Octopus was a love at first sight. I was working at a Mediterranean focused 2 different restaurants. One had a hat and the other one is a 300-seater, and both had octopus as a signature dish. So I had to do the right thing of looking at all of the products from all over Australia and imported. And it was very simple. Fremantle Octopus, the value, the consistency, the yield, the quality. When you think about it, it's actually the cheapest product out there. And then, when I went to Western Australia to just do some sightseeing, I also emailed the factory, the processing facility. I got a tour. And when COVID came, I got a job offer So very long story, very short, very fast.
Yeah, but very much driven by your love of produce and wanting to get to the story behind it and understand where it comes from. And I would imagine, but I could be wrong, like your cultural background, that you were exposed to octopus as a child growing up or not?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. For sure, 100%. In Turkey, obviously, Turkish food, like the Mediterranean, has a lot of octopus, different species and different application methods. Obviously, Greece, when you travel there, it's like right across the other, like it's on the other shore. It's very nearby, but they also have a complete different way of tackling octopus as well. As you probably, well, like as a lot of people would know, you know, they beat it on the rocks, they hang it to dry it, and they immediately grill it. And it's a different application and technique as well. And like obviously 3 Michelin stars in Spain, I've seen octopus there too, for sure. And yeah, just I think a lot of old culture cuisines have octopus because octopus are on the shores like oysters and other things. Yeah. So it was one of the first things that people figured out that they could
a wild
harvest.
Food that they could forage and harvest.
Exactly. So yeah, definitely. But Western Rock Octopus, the Western Australian octopus, was a different level in life because I thought I knew about octopus. Then, 2020 and COVID came and I moved to WA for basically, there were no sales jobs, obviously, like everything closed down. So I used the opportunity to be in the processing facility. And then if you do 1.5 tons of production day of octopus, then you're like, okay, I didn't know much. Now I definitely know.
You know a lot.
I definitely know now.
Absolutely. So I love that idea that you actually really immersed yourself in working with the product to learn more about it. And from what you've just said, like obviously there's lots of different species of octopus. Tell us about the species that Fremantle Octopus is, because it's very unique to WA, to Australia, and it really is, I think, the key to a lot of its incredible attributes. So, yeah, tell us about the species.
For sure. So, Western Rock Octopus, or Octopus jinda, which is Jinda, means star in Aboriginal language, is an indigenous species that could be only found in Western Australia, nowhere else. So it doesn't exist in other shores of Australia as well. It's a quite fast living species, about 9 to 15 months essentially, whereas like Octopus vulgaris, which is the Mediterranean, Octopus tetricus, you find it in Southeast Asia. There's Octopus maya, you find it in Mexico and America. Yep. And there are a couple of different species, but they live a lot longer. Yeah. Whereas ours is kind of a very fast living creature, and octopus is no intermuscular fat. It's just muscle. And as you know from other proteins as well, like the more a muscle works, the tougher it gets, essentially. Yeah. Yep. So I relate this to like the spring lamb or the suckling pig of the octopuses. So it's naturally tender. Apart from where it comes from being pristine. So again, COVID and lockdowns and everything, if you write the most isolated city in the world, it's Perth. And when you think about it, it's a giant coastline with no humans polluting it. So the water it comes from is very important as well. And also with Fremantle Octopus, the processing and how fast it happens from the bottom of the ocean until it gets into the package form is another marker. And a lot of these small things coming together make this product quite unique that cannot be replicated anywhere else in the world.
Yeah. So quite fast growing. And how does it compare in size when it's at its sort of full maturity or the sort of size that you catch it?
Definitely smaller than, it's not baby octopus for sure, because there's that baby octopus that you see from different parts of the world. Yeah. But when you think about other products that you can find, and also in like Tasmania, New Zealand, Japan, you can get tentacles very big as well. Whereas our product's around 2.5, maybe maximum 3 kilos.
Okay.
But when you look at the octopus world, the grading is done by the world is different, and the grading how we do is completely different. There's T1 to T7, they call it, the size of the octopus, and T3 and 4 are the most sought after.
Right,
it's usually when you're trading octopus, everybody basically tries to sell you T1s and T2s bundled up with 3s and 4s. So it's like when you have the you can't just ask for tenderloin and not get the chuck and other parts, essentially. So it's basically a trading thing that you combine different sizes, and T3 and 4 is our large.
Okay.
So basically our middle ground is exactly the bullet, like the bullseye of what the world wants as well. But we don't have that extra large ones, because you can easily find like Japanese tentacles are like this big after
they're huge.
cooked.
I've seen them,
Whereas we're on the like a bit on this smaller end.
The petite end.
The petite ends. But it's like 110 grams cooked per portion, which is a really good portion for like appetizers, and you get towards the extra large, where Japanese and sushi chefs really like our product globally as well. Those it gets around like 3-4 tentacles per kilo, so that's like 300 grams range.
Perfect. So you mentioned the pristine waters of WA, which really are an incredible environment for the product to grow in. But I know that the fishery itself and Fremantle Octopus have done an enormous amount of research and development and innovation, patented technology in the catch process. So tell us, you mentioned it just before, but tell us a little bit about what is so unique about the catch and processing from Fremantle Octopus's perspective.
So the story of the company is like 25 years ago. Our fishermen were cray fishermen, and what you would always find is, obviously cray is a very prized species, and it's well matured, and it has a great price point and also demand, obviously from China and other parts of the world. So when our fishermen pulled their pots, they would have an octopus and a half-eaten cray, and the octopus would be looking at them.
So kind of bycatch, but it's eating their main catch.
Exactly. And because they were concerned for their money-making species, they went to the government and said, we would like to devise a trap to lay it on the side, so we can catch octopus separately, so our prized species will be left alone. And now, 15 years later, 2015, the patented pot technology got so good that the fishery was formed.
Right.
So essentially, the fishery exists because of the research of the patented pot technology that started 25 years ago. And the other thing is, it's quite a unique trapping method. We have no bycatch and no ghost fishing. So no other species can go into the pot. And ghost fishing is when there are open-ended pots. Basically, you have like the donuts that some crab fishermen would know, and also cray fishermen as well. So the door is open, so it would go in, and then it waits for you to pull the pot. But what happens if that pot somehow gets lost in the environment? It keeps on catching, and basically keeps on killing the biomass, whatever species it may be. But our trigger trap technology can only be locked once.
Right, okay.
So it doesn't have any ghost fishing.
Right. So really, from a sustainability perspective, that's incredible, because it's not catching anything it shouldn't catch.
MSC is quite unique for the Western Australian fishery, is because of the patented pot method.
Right, okay. So is that what contributed to Fremantle Octopus getting, or the fishery getting, the MSC certification?
For sure. 2017, when the MSC certified the fishery, and MSC is very closely related to Western Australia globally. There are 15 species, different species, but Western Australia is an MSC golden child, because the first location that was MSC certified was in Western Australia, and the amount of species there combined is quite remarkable. Things when I was in Barcelona about 3 years ago, the Global Seafood Convention, the keynote was actually Western Australia.
Right, okay.
And I was quite fascinated to see that actually it's quite a special place to be in terms of sustainability, the cleanliness, and traceability.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a really important factor. And we'll talk about zero waste as well in a little while, because I think that's a really important factor for, consumers and kitchens nowadays, of course. In terms of the processing, tell us a little bit about that. So the octopus is caught in the traps or the pots. What happens then?
These are they're line caught, so you usually have about 30 in a line, and it's basically pulled from the bottom of the ocean and immediately harvested after it's been, the pots are opened, and then iced within seconds. When you're in a fishery and then you're targeting a species, obviously the bycatch doesn't get the attention, whereas in our fishery, we only have one thing to pay attention to, which is the octopus. So we have very specific parameters. It has to be a certain ice slurry of certain quality, and there's only a maximum amount of octopus that you can put inside one esky as well, which prevents any hot spots. And then it comes back to the shore, collected by our own transport, comes to our processing facility, which is very close to Fremantle, stone throw away from the first location that we were at 25 years ago, and fully basically processed within 24 hours.
Right, okay.
That's our aim.
Fast.
Correct. Like, I kind of call this the Formula One of octopus fisheries in the world, because we have innovated at every aspect of the product, and that's why it's a little bit difficult. My job is a little bit difficult because there's a lot of things to tell as well, to educate to the chefs. But the transparency, the cleanliness, the innovation, all of those things are quite special to this fishery.
Yeah, and I think it really does make a huge difference to the end product. And so that really quick processing and snap freezing, does that contribute to also helping the tenderization process?
Snap freezing does. Chefs know, for example, one of the first things that I learned about freezer tenderization is the asparagus. You would freeze your asparagus, freeze your cabbage. So instead of boiling them, you can actually freeze them. So expanding of the cell structure obviously tenderizes the product. But one other thing is, from the cattle industry, like about, I think 15, 20 years ago, they figured out that if there's adrenaline and cortisol in the system of the animal because they're frightened, scared, it taints the meat. It changes the protein.
Well, it's the molecular structure, isn't it? Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. And with octopus as well, it's quite the same. They're Houdinis of the sea world, as we say. So with us, it's very straightforward process, and it's very fast. So it's I believe this is one of the most humane ways of harvesting octopus and being an octopus fishery. On top of it, we have in the processing facility a lot of different things as well, such as our washing machine. We have a special cleaning device that is purpose built for octopus because of all the sand, seaweed, and other things. We take pride on our processing methods. We meticulously milk the product. It's something that we have created ourselves because octopus has a muscle tone. And towards the end of its life, it will lose the muscle tone. This is something that happens anatomically naturally.
Okay.
And you can actually catch this by individually observing the tentacles.
Wow.
And there's no reversal from that. Like once that process starts, I'm pretty sure every chef would have a moment in their career that they would cook an octopus and they would cook it for like 24 hours and it's still leathery and rubbery. It's essentially product that has been mixed in, although it's very obvious that product is never going to achieve quality, but by the time the processing happens, frozen, wholesalers, defrosted in the kitchen and cooked, it's long gone, the conversation. So we have a grading device on top of it as well. So the cleanliness, the grading in terms of quality and the grading in terms of tentacles are quite unique, and we grade by the tentacles.
Right, okay.
Instead of the T1, the T7, it refers to whole animal.
Right, okay.
But octopus anatomically has 4 long legs and 4 short legs. You have 2 grades in one octopus.
Wow,
and
that's fascinating.
What we do is we individually separate each tentacle and grade it. So, for example, when you get a large product, it's 5 to 7 tentacles per pack, similar to what prawns are. For example,
Right.
you get the U6, U8, U10. You can figure out how many units per kilo or per pound you want.
Yeah.
So we have essentially married 2 different worlds into this one.
Oh, wow. So much work has gone into this product. It's pretty incredible.
For sure. I used to use about 25, 30 kilo a week and the 300 seater. And when you do the maths, it's about a ton a year.
Right.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Which is a good amount of quantity. I've never returned a product.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Like personally, I can tell as a chef, and now working 5 years in the business, like I never receive any complaints about the 1 kilo. So
right. That's amazing.
The quality shows.
And the consistency, obviously. And I just want to pick up on a point that you were just talking about, the process that I think a lot of people think you have to go through to prepare octopus. And I'm not sure if you have seen Danielle Alvarez's book, Recipes for a Lifetime of Beautiful Cooking, but we should have a look afterwards. She's got a lovely story at the back of it about how to cook an octopus, because it really does. She uses the word bewilders people, which I think is a really good reference to, how I think some people feel hesitant about approaching or cooking with octopus. They feel like they have to go through a long cooking, different stages and time is involved. And so I think that does make people a little bit hesitant sometimes to think about cooking it. How would you respond to that, knowing everything that you know about Fremantle Octopus and how it's really quite ready to be used in the kitchen, both for chefs and home cooks?
It's a great question, and kind of a stigma and a fear point, because not every chef is confident to cook octopus, and for a great reason. To start with, Fremantle Octopus, simmering water, cooks in 30 minutes. Today, tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, never changes. The reason that it never changes is because we have all of the processes and we do all it ourselves, whereas the fishermen, the processing, the packaging might be given to different parts of the production operations, and it just, every time that somebody touches the product, it alters it in many ways.
Right. So you're losing a little bit of control when it goes out into those different
you add unknowns. If you add 3 to 4 unknowns, so who caught the product and how they have treated it, then came into the shore, who tenderized the product, who cooked the product, who packaged the product. And the thing is, octopus is a dark world in terms of the lowest yield that I have experienced was an Indonesian octopus. You buy a kilo frozen, you end up with 170 grams. So that's 17% yield.
Yeah,
and why is that, you might ask? Because everybody has pumped water into it. Every stakeholder along the path. And also some had to either chemically or physically tenderize it. And I personally, from the same wholesaler, from the same pallet, from the same boxes, from the same packaging, you cook it one day and it cooks in 1 hour, the other day it cooks in 4 hours. So if you are working with an octopus that you cannot rely on, which I would say majority of the octopus out there, you just need to come back every 15 minutes. Because the opportunity of cooking octopus is a very narrow curve. So it's basically not tender, and then not tender.
And then drops off again. Okay.
Exactly.
So really, you are doing all the hard work for people in the processing process. And so what we end up with, and we've got some little tastes here, which I might just grab. So what other products that you have in the market? I can see here that there's raw, and this is the
simmered
for
30 minutes, and then the sous vide.
And sous vide. Okay. So the raw tentacles?
Yes, correct.
And do you find many people enjoy it raw?
Depends on the culture. Like if you go to Japan and Korea, raw is definitely a thing. And also with like, you can have it with steak tartare, like raw steak and yolk in Korea with some sesame seeds and seaweed. In Japan as well, obviously. I present raw, especially to chefs, as a shock factor, so they remember me for their entire life, because everybody's kind of scared to have the raw product. But this is like the tuna fishery that you find. Like tuna is frozen immediately at its best time and locked in, and then it travels to Japan and then travels out of Japan, and then it ends up in your plate. Well, this octopus in a similar way has been locked in the right moment, and but it's quite safe to eat as well.
Oh, it's absolutely delicious, and it's memorable because of the texture. Like it's really silky and creamy, but kind of crunchy and textural at all at the same time. Like it's actually really. I've never had raw octopus before, so that's a first for me.
And not fishy.
Not fishy.
Not heavy.
It's got a really luxurious kind of creamy feel to it, or mouthfeel, which I wasn't expecting. And visually, it's really beautiful. And so the next one we've got here is the
simmered one.
Simmered.
So this is a 30 minutes, 33 minutes, depending on the size, simmered one.
So denser and meatier.
Correct. And also because it's in, I do it in just water. Like obviously you can use bouillon and like bay leaf and mirepoix and everything. But I want to always showcase the natural taste of the product. And the best method to do it is to not add any flavorings. So this is a simmered one, but obviously if you have a pot of water, you will have some of the flavor of the product seep into the water. And the last one is the sous vide, so it actually cooks in its own juices.
Yeah.
Which is the next one. So the flavor wise, you're going to go to the next level.
Right.
I hope.
Okay. You hope. Let's see. Okay, here we go. And that is so tender. Oh my gosh.
So the sous vide one,
but it hasn't lost its texture.
No.
Like it's really beautifully textural as well.
I really try to nail it, especially for the chefs. I had a couple of chef engagements today, and I usually try to cook the product for them, because when I leave a raw product, they might cook it for 4 to 6 hours, 8 hours overnight, and then at the end we cannot achieve the thing that we want to achieve, which is to let them understand the product and what it can do. So what I do is I try to go either simmered or sous vide for them to taste. Then I provide them the raw product so they can have an idea as a benchmark, and then they make it their own, essentially. And the sous vide is really good for convenience, because it's like tenderness is the most important thing, especially in Australia as well. There are some markets that are more sensitive to tenderness and mouthfeel than others. And Australia, like, you don't want to have a chewy product because it will come back from the table. But this is cooked for 85 degrees for 2 hours, 15 minutes. You will never have any issue on the floor.
Beautiful. I mean, it's got a slight sort of give to, a slight chewiness, but in a really desirable way, not in a tough, not in a tough way. And so I guess that leads me to think about, recipe inspiration. I think a lot of people think of octopus in the Mediterranean style of dish, but of course there's so much scope there. And I think what's interesting in the dining industry as well is that a lot of people, for many different reasons, are eating much more casually. They're eating in much more sort of shared style, a shared plate, style dining. And that opens up so many opportunities for octopus, I think, to be presented in so many different ways. So a lot of versatility of what could happen on the plate. But what are some of the exciting ways that you like to see octopus presented in different recipes or cultural styles?
Octopus holds flavor really well. I want to really highlight winter menus because majority of the time people think octopus is a summery dish, and we definitely see that demand there in the summer as well. But to be honest, when I had it on the menu, I had it a year round. And it basically holds a lot of heavier flavors really well as well, spices.
Almost, I mean, I think it almost lends itself to winter dishes better in many respects, because you can apply a lot more flavor to it.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. The very simple one is like Galician method. Obviously, you have with the potatoes, the olive oil, and the paprika. Winter wise, any kind of spicy mixes, especially Middle Eastern, like glazings, I really like to do as well to serve, and it goes really well with beans, tomatoes, like as a winter stew as well. I'm Turkish, obviously, and I used to put a lot of sucuk inside as well. So like you would have the sausage octopus combination with the beans, which is a really good combination that I have cooked in many places, and something that I'm proud of as well. And also just both simmering and sous videing. I usually like to finish it on the grill if I can, or in the pan, because you can get that really good crisp skin, which doesn't happen with other species because of usually either chemical or physical tenderization. You lose the quality of the skin. Okay. Whereas Fremantle Octopus always comes from head to tail, a perfect tentacle, and also the skin is fully intact and undamaged. So when you see a whole tentacle, you will see like a little spotted. One side is like a spotted deep purple red, and I usually really like to crisp up that and give that. And
visually on the plate, that's so beautiful as well.
100%.
And so I think it is, across the different seasons of spring, summer, autumn, winter, it is very adaptable, and I think it also lends itself to so many different wine matches as well. My background is front of house, and so I'm always thinking about what I could serve it with. But I think really light-bodied Pinot Noirs or Grenache Shiraz Mourvedres are just so well matched with octopus, as well as nice crisp Rieslings in summer. So there's a lot to do with it. I've actually also got another book here, which is Lennox Hasty's beautiful book Finding Fire. I'm sure you've seen it, and he's got an amazing recipe in there for octopus, radicchio, and macadamia. And I think that would I was thinking about it earlier, that would pair really beautifully with like a Fiano or even a light red. So much opportunity with octopus. What are some of the barriers that you're seeing in kitchens? Is it cost? Is it the idea that it's potentially labor intensive or time consuming to prepare? Talk to us a little bit about that.
I think there are a couple of angles. One of the angles is because we don't pump the product. At the raw price point, we look more expensive.
Right.
And that's something that is very difficult to, I'm obviously one person, but there are a sea of chefs out there and also purchasing managers. Not always chefs can decide which product to buy. On the raw price point, we look more expensive, but when you do your costs right and yields right, we're actually cheaper. We're very lucky because our product has 2-year shelf life. Also, sustainability is an easily dished out word. It's not just how much you take out of the environment. It's also price stability, which is a commercial sustainability, year-round availability, again, a commercial sustainability. You cannot go to a chef and then give the product and the chef likes the product. And then by the time that he has done the food costing, the menu design, and got it through F&B approval and the purchasing manager and the general manager, if it's a hotel, and do their, trainings. And then you say, by the way, it's not available, season, or it's double the price. Yeah. It wouldn't work. So it's very important, the commercial sustainability of the product as well, which we have. After 4 or 5 years, we've built Singapore, Dubai, and Vancouver to levels where there's a cult following of Michelin star chefs and restaurants in the 50 best list. And it's just...
Well, I mean, I think, when you talk about sustainability, you've got sustainability in the fishery, in the processes to get it, into the packet and to kitchen benches and consumer tables. But then I think what is really an incredible aspect as well is that there is nothing that goes to waste in that bag. There should be nothing going in the bin, because really it's ready to go and ready to just cook, add the flavor to the dish, and put it onto the plate. So from that perspective for kitchens, that's a huge bonus as well, because there's a lot of of money that goes into the bin.
100%. And also when you think about it, we have sous vide, like highest grade sous vide packaging. So you can actually cook the product directly inside the bag. You can, if you want, to rip it open, add flavorings and reseal it, or the product is completely labor-wise prepared for you that you can just like...
Well, I was going to say labor's the other side of it as well, is that you've got, from a skill perspective, you can teach chefs how to make the best of it and add the flavor and create the beautiful dishes, but you don't have to worry too much about the preparation and the cleaning. The hard work's all done. And I think one other thing that I wanted to touch on is that there's still a little bit of a misconception that frozen isn't good. Like, people really want fresh. But in this case, I think frozen is exactly what you want, because again, there's so many reasons why it's actually enhancing the quality of the product, but then making it really easy to handle as well.
100%. Europe is very fresh oriented. Like, they would rather have an octopus product that is chemically treated to prolong its shelf life, fresh, than frozen.
Right.
It's kind of interesting, but that you can see in that specific market there. But for example, America and a couple of other markets, they don't have that kind of fixation. So when you think about it, yes, frozen is better, and also it's more efficient. We like, as a chef growing up, there was always like, try to be source everything as close as possible. When you think about the 2050, the SDGs, the sustainable global sustainable development goals, they have charted everything out into 14 or 15 different topics.
Yep. Maybe 16 or 17
16, 17. And then one of it's actually transport. But sea freight is one of the most efficient ways to move product around, and very low. Like, when you think about it, it's about 1 to 2% difference in the carbon emissions and the impact in the world. So it is better for you to get product from an environment that is better and easier to grow and harvest, whether it's vegetables or animals, etc., than actually sourcing nearby.
And that's why it's so important to really ask all those questions and understand the product and what goes into creating the product and getting it to your kitchen bench or kitchen table, because understanding all of those points along the journey are really critical in making the right decisions around sustainability, because of course quality is important, deliciousness is important, and all of those are absolutely right there. But those final decisions around sustainability are really critical, and it's asking those questions.
We just passed an MSC audit recently as a fishery and as a company as well. So another 3 years have been
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Certified, and it's just going to be reassessed.
Yeah.
When you think about the world and sustainable protein alternatives, like octopus and cephalopods in general as a category, since I think 1970s and 80s globally, it's increasing in biomass because they're resistant,
right? Like
to ocean acidification, fluctuations of temperature, etc. So there's that protein source out there that is quite resilient.
Yeah. And so therefore people really should be seeking it out. And you can see that you've got two different formats here. You've got the 1 kilo package or pouch for food service, which is really easy format to receive and store, and as we talked about, use. And then you've also got the smaller pack here, which is for consumers.
Yes, retail.
Great.
And this is one of the great news that we have, is that we're going to be launching at Coles in October as well. So you're going to be able to find us both in the raw and the cooked format.
Great. So all those foodies that are listening, they'll be able to get their hands on this wonderful product as well.
Definitely would love to have their feedback. It's essentially 2 tentacles per pack.
Okay.
So it's a meal for 2 that we wanted to do. And I really love this product, and I'm quite excited because it's so convenient. You defrost it as it's cooked in its own natural juices. You can use that as a sauce as well, or a glaze if you want to. And I always tell chefs, if you're sous videing it, please don't discard the liquid. Like, you can easily make a seafood risotto or a bisque or anything else from it. Apart from using the octopus, you can really
so you're extending the use of it even further. So
100%.
That's an incredible advantage. That's amazing. Well, we're going to wrap up shortly, but before we do, I thought we'd have a little bit of fun with a round of quick fire questions.
For
Are you
sure.
Ready? Just
Yeah.
quick one-word answers. Don't
Okay.
think too much about
try.
it. Who's a chef you'd love to cook with?
Off the top of my head, I think Francis Malman, because of the fire.
Okay. And you'd cook octopus, surely.
Yes, I would love to cook octopus with Francis Malman and have it on my socials for sure.
Okay, well then I might know the answer to this one, but I'll ask it anyway. What's your go-to method for cooking octopus?
I like simmering. I think for me, the simmering is the best because you get the skin quality and the texture as well.
Okay.
And charcoal finishing.
Okay, so combination. I thought you were going to say fire somewhere in there. What do you think is an ingredient that pairs absolutely perfectly with octopus?
Potato. I will say potato.
Okay, potato every time. What is the best location you've ever cooked Fremantle Octopus?
Great question. I'm gonna say Dubai.
Okay.
Obviously the desert. One of the first times that I went to Dubai for an in-market visit, they set up a barbecue in the middle of the desert. So when I first landed, there was a pin on the map, and then we basically drove out with the 4x4s.
Wow.
And you see people coming from different directions, and all there's one tree and a fully wooden fired barbecue. It's essentially a metal chassis that somebody built for themselves, and it flat packs into their roof, but you can just make that full barbecue. And it was kind of amazing. It was February, so it's their winter. A cool, nice time to go to Dubai as well. I think that's one of the most interesting environments that I had. Fremantle Octopus.
What an amazing experience. And what is the most memorable octopus dish you've ever eaten?
This is a tough one.
It's like choosing your favorite child.
Yes, 100%. I think I'm going to go back to Bangkok, and it basically creates this the raw product that I have served you. It was an Italian chef, and then he basically took the Fremantle Octopus, smelt it, and he was like, "Oh, this is amazing quality." He started slicing it thin and made a octopus carpaccio.
Oh wow!
Little bit of olive oil, tiny bit of lemon zest, arugula. Tiny bit of salt and balsamic. So it's a carpaccio that I have tasted before in my life. Actually, one of the first places that I worked, there was an Italian restaurant, and flipping that concept and applying to octopus would not be something that I would think of ever, but it works so well.
Wow. Okay.
If I want to impress someone, and I know that I'm not going to traumatize them with raw octopus. Always the recipe that I go with. And I have to say, recently I'm getting into smoked octopus.
Okay.
That's the recent one. I'll give you two, one all-star and one
that's
recent.
Fine. I think it just goes to show how versatile it is, which is amazing. And if you had to drink wine with octopus, would you have white or red?
As you said, it's like very versatile. I'm going to say white in Spain during summer, with the Galician method. So you have nice olive oil, potatoes, paprika, and octopus, and maybe a nice albarino.
Beautiful.
Next to it.
Sounds absolutely incredible. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your incredible expertise and experience, but also your absolute passion. Like, it really comes through how passionate you are about this product, and really, truly believe in it, as you should, because it's got so much going for it, from where it's from, the story it tells on the plate, the versatility in the kitchen, how it does meet a lot of those sustainability challenges that, kitchens and consumers really want to help solve. And so for anyone listening, what is the best way for them to learn more about the product or recipe inspiration? We've given them some ideas, but where would you suggest that they head for more information and some inspiration?
Definitely contact us directly through the website. Probably the email will come to me. Always happy to. I feel like now like a dictionary, a glossary of octopus with all of the chefs that I have collaborated with, and there are about 50 recipes on the website as well.
Okay, great.
From raw cooked, and marinated, which is the 3 lines that we have.
Yep.
And also a very varied skill levels and time resource requirements as well. You have like a 10-minute recipe and also like a 2-day recipe on it as well. And those are the 2 places that I can say. And also there are a lot of Fremantle Octopus dishes around Australia as well. So if you see it on the menu and then you go ask the local restaurant chef that you have, that's
Wonderful.
Also a good one too.
Wonderful. Well, if anyone listening wants to get in touch with Sina, you can most certainly do it through us. But otherwise, thank you again. It's been wonderful having you here. And that's a wrap. It's been a really wonderful conversation. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you would like to learn any more or look for recipe inspiration, you can head to FremantleOctopus.com.au or get in touch with us. And we'd be more than happy to put you in touch with Sina. So thank you for joining us. And we look forward to catching you next time.